welcome to the video. In this one, we're going to be covering how to sign your next 10 high-ticket coaching clients, launch a community offer, and build a business that you actually love to run, because that's the most important part in this. And this is for people who have an existing high-ticket coaching offer. You are able to close sales when you get calls booked. You have client case studies, but your lead gen and your booked calls are inconsistent. Your business is a bit of a roller coaster. Some months are great, some months are slow, and it's making you lose clarity and belief in what you're building. So right now, you just don't have consistency, and you're not building anything that's going anywhere. It's just not sustainable. It feels like you're kind of just chasing your tail all the time. And what we're going to be covering in this training is three core pillars, which, the first is going to be all around your coaching model and how to build consistent growth. The second is how to build an attraction-based marketing system on Instagram that brings your dream clients to you instead of you having to chase them, post endless content, or cold DM strangers. And pillar number three is how to clarify your message and offer to convert high-ticket clients, right? Instead of getting people through that are dead broke, that give you price objections, that just aren't a good fit and the kind of people that you don't want to work with, we want to figure out how you can attract the right types of people. So a little bit about me, if you haven't met me before, my name's Hugh, and in 2013 to 2015, I'd spent 2 years trying to build an audience online, trying to grow a coaching business, and I actually lost money. I signed a few clients, but because I was spending money on web design and photo shoots and things that I thought were important, I actually ended up losing money. And in 2015, it was like right towards the end of 2015, I hired my first business mentor. I learned high ticket sales and paid advertising, and it allowed me to quit my job 2 months later. Start of 2016, I booked a one-way ticket to Thailand, left the UK, traveled the world, and for a while, I was stuck at kind of 2 to 4K a month. Like, it was okay when I was living in Thailand because it was so cheap to live there. But towards the end of 2016, I moved to Australia, which is a lot more expensive, and I needed to really kind of ramp stuff up. And so I actually ended up hiring another business mentor, and I hired a messaging consultant who helped me get really, really clear on my message and my offer. And that kind of transformed my business. And I went from 2 to 4K a month, 3K on average, to doing 15K a month, which was absolutely incredible for me at the time. 2017, I actually ended up working for my business mentor. I wanted to learn more around marketing, more around sales, more around the business side of things. And so I ended up working with him for a year, and I ran ads for his business, but also for over 500 clients who are also online coaches, help them with their offers, help them with their messaging. And it really allowed me to upskill myself. And then in 2018, I kind of took that skill set and I basically launched an agency, and I wrote offers and ran ads for, I worked with a lot of different clients, but for the most part, I was working with some of the biggest coaches in the personal development space and the business space as well. And so some of these guys were already doing 7, a couple were already doing 8 figures in their business. So it was really good to kind of jump in and do stuff at scale. But I was also working with guys who were kind of doing like 5 to 10K a month. So I had a variety of clients doing that. Now, I built this up on and off for 6 years. And in 2022, I was in a partnership in the UK. And I just wasn't really enjoying the work I was doing anymore. I started to get burnt out in the agency, and it was very intensive. Like, clients were asking for a lot of things all the time. And it just kind of sucked the enjoyment out of the business. And I actually ended up completely burning out. My health wasn't in a great spot. And at the end of 2022, I walked away from that business because I wanted to kind of just figure out what I wanted to do by myself. I was living back in the UK at this point, and I really wanted to just pack up and leave and travel again. And so that's what I did. I decided to launch a coaching offer. I still had a couple of done few clients where it was a little bit more hands off. And I left the UK in the start of 2023 with my wife. And we traveled across the States, traveled Asia, and then eventually moved back to Australia, which is where we live permanently now. And then in 2024, we got married in Bali, had like our dream wedding. It was absolutely incredible. We traveled for 6 weeks around Asia. And during that time, business still grew. I was still making sales. I was still growing the business. And it was because I kind of adopted this new model. I started doing things differently to how I had done before, where I was just like constantly chasing my tail and constantly not building anything really. I had really good months, in terms of revenue, but there was a lot of stress and it just wasn't sustainable. So that's why, maybe like yourself, I was kind of stuck on that roller coaster business model. So just a few recent case studies as well, because it's all good me talking about, my life and the results I get, but what's more important is the clients that I worked with, right? So my client Josh, he's a mindset coach from Australia. He was doing like between 5 and 10K a month organically, but it was very hit and miss, right? Some months were good, some months were bad, but it wasn't consistent. And he had quite a broad message. He was just relying on organic marketing. It wasn't really growing. And so we plugged in the systems that I'm going to share with you shortly. And he was able to grow to 25K a month consistently. His personal brand is growing. He's managed to create a really good audience on Instagram and YouTube. And that's just grown from these systems I'm going to share with you now. My client Callum was at zero. He had expertise, but he wanted to launch a new offer and a new niche. And so we built that from zero all the way up to £55,000 a month. So that's about just under 70,000 USD, about 100,000 Aussie a month. And that in total took just under, I think, 18 months, so a year and a half. Reed is a recent client of mine who, working full time, 3 kids, really busy guy. He's a marriage coach, and he has a high ticket offer, but he hadn't had any sales for months on end, and so he was starting to kind of doubt whether it was even possible, if this business was even something he could grow. But we got started 8 weeks ago. We launched ads very quickly. We got his message dialed in. And he messaged me a couple of days ago saying he's fully booked, right? He's literally fully booked. So that's just doing one-to-ones. We're going to look at launching a group offer very soon, which I'm going to share with you as well. But he's managed to do that in 8 weeks, and he's got a just under $3,000 offer. It's $2,800. So he's managed to book completely out within 8 weeks. Luke stuck at the same level in his business with organic. He was doing pretty well, but he just couldn't grow things any further. And so we plugged ads into his business, got things dialed in, and we were able to double his business using paid ads. And then DRA, I've worked with in the past and actually helped him grow his last business to 7 figures. He had a new offer he launched, a little while ago, but we kind of started working together again recently. He launched ads and made a $7,000 sale in the first couple of weeks of launching this. So really, really powerful stuff. You can get momentum fast when you do this. But the main thing is it's about consistency. And this is a long-term strategy that's going to get you set up for, sustainability. And really just getting those next 10 clients is going to be the key here. So there's a big industry lie that goes around, and a lot of people think that they need to build a big organic audience, then use ads. It's like you get to 10, 20, 30K a month, then run ads. A lot of people teach that, and it's not a very good strategy at all, because in order to kind of grow organically, generally what happens is you have to try and go viral or follow trends. And the way of doing that is by having a very broad generic message. You're kind of entertaining, you're doing entertainment content, you're kind of clowning around doing stupid stuff. And yeah, you can get a lot of views doing that, but that isn't going to attract high ticket clients, right? It's not building a scalable system, and it's not a repeatable model. And so I've actually worked with coaches in the past that some of them had over 1 million followers and they were struggling to make money, right? It's absolutely nuts, but they were struggling to make money because they just built a massive audience of people that had no money, right? Like loads of people that followed him. I had a fitness coach I worked with. Most of his audience were like broke teenagers. So he had a $50 ebook, and even that he struggled to sell. So we had to launch ads and kind of rebuild an audience from scratch so he could start selling high ticket to the right audience. And views don't mean clients. This is really important to understand. You see these people that get big views and you think they're the ones crushing it. A lot of the people who are crushing it in the space you've probably never heard of. Some of my clients have less than 500 followers, and they're making consistent sales each week for anywhere between $2,000 and $7,000. So pillar 1, let's get into it. This is the proximity model, and this is what I think is the best model for online coaching in terms of you as the coach and how you operate, because it's scalable and it doesn't like destroy your life trying to build this. But at the same time, it's also good for clients because it gives them different opportunities to work with you. And how it looks like is this. You essentially have one-to-one coaching, community, which is like group coaching, and then you have like kind of low ticket offers, which is like taking some of the modules that you teach people, or if you do live workshops, you can sell access to that as well. And really the goal should be, if you've gone through like a slow period, I would say get your next 10 one-to-one clients and then build outwards. So start with one-to-one and then launch your kind of group community offer. And most people try and launch a group before they have their messaging and marketing dialed in, and it flops. And I actually did this a couple of years back, and it sucked. I got like 3 or 4 people in, and then I wasn't able to sustain the marketing. So we didn't get any more people, and then it kind of just fizzled out, and then the group was just non-existent. So I just didn't continue it. Whereas what I did recently is I launched a community offer after getting my one-to-ones to a good level. So I had like 10 people I was working with one-to-one. I also have 5 done for you clients, and a few of those guys wanted to kind of join in the community as well. So I launched a community, added all those guys in, and then I sold access to the community as well, right? So now I have multiple tiers to that offer. And just as a side note as well, something I did a few months back when I was on my honeymoon is I packaged up some of the modules that I give to clients. This was just one-to-one at the time, but I had a couple of modules I packaged up, and I just sold it as a $27 offer, which doesn't sound like a lot. But I sold over 100 of those, so it was able to, produce an extra few $1,000s whilst I was traveling. But then people that bought that ended up becoming one-to-one clients as well. So it was a really good strategy just to get people to buy the low ticket stuff and then upsell as well. And then pillar 2 is attraction-based marketing, right? So I believe that clients should be coming to you. And I think it's really hard to sign clients outbound for coaching, right? Certain services, right? Like if you're like a videographer or video editor or web designer, that can work really well if you do outbound. Appointment setting can work really well if you do outbound. But coaching is a personal experience. And I think that people need to come to you because they have a specific problem that they want to solve. And so it's really important that we have the right systems in place to attract those people and pull them in. I'm a really big fan of using paid ads to do that. So they give you a lot of control and it's scalable because once it works, you can just increase it. And usually what I would recommend when clients come on is they spend $20 a day. That's US. So if you're in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, that's about $30 a day. But that's going to give you enough momentum to start signing a client a week when you get this dialed in, right? And so this is one of my clients. We launched ads recently doing $3.70 a lead, right? So really powerful. If you're spending $20 a day, then you're getting anywhere from like, what's that, like 6 to 8 leads a day. And then really we'll want to convert like 10 to 20% of those into calls. So this should get you a call a day once you dial this in. You might not get calls straight away on the first week, but it will compound and build up over time. And really what we do is we build a lead magnet that breaks down how you solve your audience's specific problem, and basically that leads to you explaining your process. So they understand like, okay, this person can help me with my problems. I understand their process. It makes sense. I can see how this is going to lead to the result I want. And then they're going to be more receptive to book a call with you. Then what we do with our content, and this is where content marketing is kind of flipped on its head a bit. Instead of using content to try to go viral and reach loads of people, we're using content to nurture people. So we're using ads to bring new people in, new leads in, and then our content just nurtures those people because it's really specific. And it's like an ecosystem for you to build know, like, and trust, because some are going to come in, they're going to watch your Instagram reels, your carousels, maybe watch your stories. You can get them on your email list. Some of my clients, and myself included, use educational YouTube channels as well, where they can start watching longer form content, and they're just seeing all these different touch points, and it allows you to build authority very fast, build that know, like, and trust, and then understanding around your offer. And then what happens is you're going to have people that come in fast, they just watch a load of your stuff, they binge watch your content, and they reach out. But then you're also going to have people that come in slow. But because you have ads running, you always have new leads coming through. That's just what's going to allow you to build that consistency and that sustainability to get those next 10 clients, but also just continue to sign clients after that as well. And as I said, with ads running, you're going to have a endless pipeline of new leads, right? As long as you don't turn your ads off, right? Because we get them working fast, you're just going to have new leads coming in all the time. So it's just going to allow you to grow things consistently. And what we want to do is we want to send your warm audience to a video sales letter that breaks down your offer. So earlier on, I said we want to use a lead magnet. what I do is I double up that lead magnet as a video sales letter. So they opt in, it's training, it's valuable, it's insightful, but it's also positioned in a way that breaks down your process and your offer so that they book a call by the end of it, right? They get to the end, they want to book a call. And obviously, not everybody is going to book a call. Some people are going to go through it and they are just either not going to watch the VSL, or they watch it and they just don't take action. And so that's why having in the DMs is really important, because you can just manually follow up, have a conversation, and then book a load of additional calls as well. That's going to allow you to really kind of get the most out of your marketing. And there's one other pillar that we want to go through, right? Um, and that is kind of like before we actually set this stuff up. So I've kind of gone through this in reverse. But the most important pillar that's like the foundation to all of this, it's kind of like the iceberg below the water, right? The thing that's like the 80-20 here is your messaging. Now, your message is the most important aspect of your business. It fuels your niche, your offer, your content, and also your delivery, because you're attracting people based on your message. So your delivery is going to be based on who you attract, right? And you want to work with the right clients. So when we look at high level messaging, I want to share some examples, and these are some changes that I've made with clients in the past. Right. So when I was working with a guy before, he had a lead magnet that was like a free guide to weight loss, and it was like a intermittent fasting guide. And he got a load of leads for it. He ran ads, he got a load of leads, but they were terrible leads. Like they just none of them had money. Like a lot of them were like unemployed. They just wanted this free thing to lose weight. And that was just not ideal, because he was actually working with really high caliber clients. That the clients he did have, he was signing on LinkedIn. It was just not consistent because it was quite hard to get in front of them. But what we did is we repackaged that lead magnet, and we positioned it as like a high performance checklist for busy CEOs, execs, and corporate managers. So his ads just started pulling in loads of the right people, and that's how he was able to start signing clients from his ads. Another client of mine was posting, mindset coach was posting about anxiety, right? And the overall message was like, are you struggling with anxiety? Which again is a really mass market issue. A lot of people struggle with anxiety. And so it was attracting a very mixed kind of bag of people. Again, a lot of people just either didn't have money, or there just wasn't like enough specificity for them to want to be like, yeah, this is for me, I need help. And so we kind of dialed it in a little bit more, and made the messaging around, their work, right? So is anxiety holding you back from socializing with colleagues in the office? Is it holding you back from getting a promotion in work? Is it holding you back from accelerating your relationships? Like these are different examples that you can tie into like message around if you help people with anxiety and their mental health. Another of my clients, who is a marriage coach, was trying to run ads, and the message was more around like improving your marriage, right? So, do you want to have like a thriving marriage? Do you want to have a great marriage? And although that is kind of the outcome, that wasn't really what his clients were thinking. And so, what we found was like the clients that were actually working with him, they were like on the brink of divorce. Like their wives had said like, I want a divorce, I want to break up. And he was helping them navigate that and basically win back their wives and get into like, a good relationship again. And so we changed the messaging to, has your wife said she wants a divorce? Read this guide to stop her from leaving with the kids, and some variations of that. And then all of a sudden his lead cost dropped, the lead quality went up, he started booking loads of calls, and he was able to, basically fully book himself from this. Another one that I've seen a lot is like struggling to make money in your business, right? Which is going to attract people who are broke, because if you're struggling, that's one thing. But to make money is like, that's kind of just shows that they don't have money, right? You're just going to attract a load of victims that don't have money. And that's not obviously who you want if you're trying to sell business coaching. So changing that to, have you hit an income ceiling in your business? Here's how to break through to the next level and hit 7 figures, is an example of like how you can like get a bit more specific to attract higher caliber people through business coaching. Once you're clear on your high level message, that like kind of one liner of who you help and what you do, that's going to help you get your method dialed in, and you can feed that into your offer. So what I mean by that is like, your method is like your process of how you help somebody, but you want to get clear on who you help, how you help them, and then you can feed that into your offer. And you do need a clear and concise offer that meets people's needs. And I've seen a lot of stuff on offers over the years and read loads of books on it. And really, I think a lot of the time it's overcomplicated and it's also not specific to coaching. So here's the formula I like to use. And it just makes things really simple, right? So you can kind of fill in the gaps for your offer, but you want to start with a promise. So that's like the 80-20 here, like the most important thing of like what you're promising to do or help somebody with, which is like, I will help you, you know, do X in Y time frame or become, or achieve, depending on the framing of this, right? So it's like, I might help you drop 20 pounds in 12 weeks, for example, is like a very generic weight loss one. Obviously, you want to make it more specific than that, but that's an example. Then the next step to that is method, right? So I'm going to help you do that using my unique method or system or protocol. That's just something that you've packaged up and synthesized into your own, system. Scarcity. So what I like to do is, rather than just have your books open all the time, you can say like, doors are going to close for enrollment Friday, for example, and then prices are going to be going up when we reopen. Or if you're just selling one-to-one coaching, you can also say like, I have 2 spaces left for one-to-one, and then my spaces are full. And then lastly is risk reversal. You don't have to do this, but it is going to increase the people taking you up on your offer, basically. So if you don't do X in Y time frame, I'll work with you for free until you do, right? So you're basically just taking what was in your promise of, I'm going to help you do X and Y, and you're just saying, if you don't do that, then I'll work with you for free until you do. I think that is a better guarantee than saying you'll refund somebody, because one, if let's say you coach someone for 12 weeks, you're jumping on calls, you're answering messages, if they turn around and refund you and you've just given them all that time and energy, like, you can't get your time back, right? So that's really important. But on the flip side, I think you're just going to attract better quality people with this type of risk reversal guarantee. If you do a price based guarantee, again, you're not going to attract the best quality people. So I think for me, this is the best type of guarantee if you're going to use one. This one is less important than the other three, like promise, method, and scarcity is a lot more important. But the risk reversal is something that you can choose to have or not have, depending on case studies, right? So if you have some averages and like, okay, if somebody goes through, this is like at minimum they're going to do this, then you can add that into your guarantee. But if you're not super clear on what that would look like, then maybe don't include that. Next, when it comes to messaging, is storytelling. And this is really where you're connecting with people on a personal level. This is how you're growing your personal brand. But your ongoing content should be sharing your story and insights that relate to your audience's specific problems and desires. So, what have you achieved and overcome that they want to do? And what have other people like them achieve? So, for example, like, there might be some stories you tell that maybe don't fully relate to you, but it's more of a client story. Like, my client XYZ did this, and that ties into their story. So, for example, for me, I don't have kids right now, but some of my clients do. Some of my clients have like 2 or 3 kids. They're really busy. So if I'm trying to relate to someone that's a parent, I might not necessarily share from my perspective, but I can share from a client's perspective. Like, I've worked with a lot of guys that have kids, and they've juggled full-time work whilst growing a coaching business. So you're going to have different client avatars. And so telling stories from different perspectives is going to help with that. But then at the same time, telling your own story is also going to help them build that that personal buy-in to you as well. Apologies, I'm losing my voice a little bit today, but they want to buy into you. And so storytelling is really, really important. And you can be selective with the stories you tell, because you've probably been through a lot in your life. There's probably been like a few highs and lows, a few kind of journeys you've been on. So you want to be selective with like, where are you meeting people? Like, are you meeting people with your origin story when you like first kind of overcame some personal hurdles? Or is it further down the track? Is it like, okay, a few years later, actually, I had achieved some level of success in this area, and then I hit some challenges, and then that's where you're trying to connect with people. So it's really important, like, what stories we're actually telling to attract the right people. So if we put this all together, right, we went through the model, we went through marketing, and we went through messaging, and these are really like the 9 kind of steps. It's like, you fill out your one-to-one, launch your community, and then you can sell individual workshops and modules for that. When it comes to messaging, we want to make sure that we're clear on our story, our methodology, and our offer. And then with marketing, we want to make sure we have ads set up, we want to make sure our content's dialed in, and we want to have conversion events in place. So our video sales letter, DMs, a way for us to actually make offers and book calls. So when we do that, what that's going to do is it's going to create leverage, and that's going to allow us to create physical freedom. So we can run this from anywhere. We're not just chained to our laptops all the time. It's going to allow us to have obviously financial freedom because you're taking the capacity of what you're able to earn by running this model, and time freedom, right? As you scale more into kind of doing more community and workshops, it's going to free your time up. So you're not working endless hours. And right now, I probably work on average about 20 hours a week, right? Like there's some weeks are busier, some weeks are quieter, but on average, I'm working like 20 hours of like actual focused work each week. So it does allow me to have a lot of freedom. As I said, like the last couple of years, I've done a lot of travel. I've traveled like all around the world in the last year and a half. I'm able to work on my own schedule. So I just take calls on a Tuesday and a Thursday. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm very flexible. So right now, as I'm filming this, I'm in Sydney. I'm on holiday for just over a week, and I'm kind of working a lot less this week. But it just allows me that flexibility time wise. If I want to go and just work from a cafe, right? Because sometimes it's not this big kind of grand thing of traveling or going abroad. Sometimes it's just you want to go work from a cafe for a few hours. You can do that. And then obviously financially, like this is really kind of a powerful model for growth. And for me, like my business went from being this roller coaster month in, month out to it just compounding month on month. Like the last few months have just built and built and built, and it's just going in a kind of upward trajectory. And it's all recurring revenue as well, right? So that's really, really powerful. I know next month, before I make any other sales, I know next month what's coming in. I'm not starting each month from zero. And that's what I want for you. If you're watching this and you have been in that position where things have been really up and down, I want you to have like this compounding model that just builds and builds and builds, that's enjoyable to run, that doesn't burn you out, that you actually, want to grow and you want to help people and you want to get more people through your system, you want to transform and change more lives. This is really the best model to do that. So just to kind of reiterate, we want to get clear on your message and your offer. We want to reverse engineer that offer into a training that you can use as your lead magnet, and that's going to double up as your video sales letter. We're going to run DM ads to your Instagram so we can send them that VSL whilst nurturing in your ongoing content, following up in the DMs, and that's going to book calls consistently with people who are actually qualified. And that's how you're going to get your next 10 clients. And that's what's going to allow you to bring those clients together and launch your community. And then from there, you've kind of got a good trajectory to keep growing things month on month. And my goal for you is to get this built out in the next 16 weeks, right? You don't have to spend years kind of getting this structured and built out. You can get momentum very, very quickly with this. And literally on the first call that I have with clients, we just get everything scripted out. So we get clear on your message and your offer. We turn that into a video sales letter script. We turn that into an ad script. We get those ads launched very quickly. We get the VSL filmed, and then we get things flowing very, very quickly so you can get momentum and start booking in calls. Now, I run a program called the Coaching Incubator. This is run by me, not another coach. I don't have support coaches that take the calls. It's all done by me. And I'm opening some spots this month to work closely with me. So if you want to get a clear offer and messaging in place, you want to get those DM ads launched and have your perfect fit clients coming inbound, you want to get your content system and your follow-up dialed in so you can start booking qualified calls each day, then this is for you. And if you want to start signing clients, you want to get your next 10 clients, and then you can move into phase 2 of this with filling your community, again, this is for you. So the doors are only open for a few days each month. They might be closed as of watching this. But if you want to get on the wait list, then when we next open, I can send you the details. And so all you need to do is head over to Instagram and message me the word incubator to get the details. And I do have different options. So you can work one-to-one with me if you want, really hands-on support, or you can join our community, which is a lower barrier to entry. And then you'll be in the group. You'll have access to the group calls, to the community, to the modules, to everything else as well. And then I do offer one initial one-to-one as you join up, just so we can still get everything mapped out that you need, and then you can go from there. So if that sounds like what you need, then head over to Instagram, drop me a message with the word incubator, and I will get you the details. So hopefully you found this video useful. Looking forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you on the next one.